Movie notes on Love Me Tender, 1956 film, 12 January 2025 viewing. Today is Sunday, 12 January 2025. I'm Tanis Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. I'm Tanis Coralee, she, her, hers of Graceland. And I'm going to talk through my movie notes for my Sunday, 12 January 2025 viewing of the 1956 film Love Me Tender, which is a fiction film about a man who had fallen in love with a woman, went off and fought in the Civil War, and then when he returns, she has married a different man, though still loves the man who returned. So it's a historically placed towards the mid 1800s, at least per the movie jacket. It's like I did read this to gain some additional context for the film. It is a black and white or grayscale motion picture. So that's kind of, go back far enough and motion pictures are the original form, black and white. So the rate, or grayscale, however one wants to term it. So I actually, in watching this, I did something right for my memory way back when. So I saw part of this movie on TV when I was growing up. I made it to the Love Me Tender song performance. So there is actually, so the name of the movie is Love Me Tender. There's a song within the movie, Love Me Tender. And so I made it to the Love Me Tender song performance when I was watching it growing up. And then I turned it off before the end of the performance because I was watching it and I was watching, and I didn't, there was something like, I'd been watching a lot of movies and I was like, I had some sort of, I was debating on it. I was like, I didn't know how long the movie was and time was a factor. And I was like, maybe I'm going to try something different with this movie. And I'm going to try turning it off and see if I can remember where I turned it off in the movie. So I was like, I was watching it and the performance was Love Me Tender. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to not stop the movie because it's on TV, but stop the movie, my personal viewing, by turning the TV off. And then maybe I'll remember it because I didn't get to see the entire performance. And so I was watching it. It was kind of an interesting viewing this time because before I did that, I was like debating on, I was like, how much of it do I want to watch? Do I want to watch the movie? I don't actually know how long the movie is. But I was remembering all of the thought, in addition to this viewing, I was remembering my thought processes from that time I saw it on TV, the part of it, and including the when to stop and why I stopped. And I was like, and way back when I did that to help me remember, and I was like, to help with my remember the movie by remembering where I stopped it, kind of thing. I was like, I did something right. And that one was good. I did it intentionally to remember, and I still remember. So that was good, good younger me. Okay, and so it's kind of. I think it does a very good job of communicate. It's not a movie. It does a very good job of communicating that she is still in love with the guy who returns. So there's zero doubt that she loves two men. She is a newlywed to the character portrayed by Elvis Presley, and this other guy, he comes back from fighting in the war, and it's it's very obvious she still has feelings for him. So I thought the movie actually did a great job on communicating that, pretty upfront, and in terms of the characters interacting with each other, and those three characters. So I was like, it's 2 thumbs up on that, for not distracting or kind of avoiding or delaying. There's a story progression there, so it's not all three are immediately that, but it's 2 minutes later it's like that. So it's quickly paced. There we go. But also yeah. So it does a good job of that, and yeah. What was it? Oh, it is a military/war movie. I'm gonna classify it as a military/war movie in that sense because it does show some of the people who fought together towards the beginning, and that's kind of how it starts off, as this guy returning back to the farmland kind of thing. thing. But it's kind of about a legacy of a war, like what happens during the war, and then what happens after when people who were elsewhere go back to where they were previously. So there we go. And then my last thing is, does this become my Elvis, man who left and fought in the war, and my Nathan, man who I married? Like, thinking of this, is this actually relevant for my life story? Is this the battle for who can make sure I get my daily 8-mile run at 7 minutes per mile on an indoor treadmill while living in / visiting New York City? If so, that is a good problem to have for me, because both men are then dedicated to me finishing my workout. My daily 8 miles on an indoor treadmill at 7 minutes per mile, or so it's only 56 minutes, and then spend the rest of the day exploring, eating, walking around, that kind of stuff. But is it become a battle between the two male characters, right, in my own life, and kind of my Elvis, the man who left and fought in the war and then returns, and then my Nathan, the man who I married. Do I end up marrying both? Then what happens? That kind of thing. Anyway, so those are my movie notes on Love Me Tender, 1956, 12 January 2025 viewing. So black and white or grayscale. At least this copy.